and the last one is company. So these 5 forms of organizations are discussed in the second chapter. So these are the private sector, and these forms of organizations are discussed in the second chapter, that is forms of organization. In public sector, again the forms of organization will be 3 types. One is departmental undertaking, and the second one is statutory corporation. Statutory corporation, and the last one is government companies. So once again I repeat this chart. The Indian economy having the 2 sector, one is public sector and private sector. Both sectors having contribution to the development of the economy of the India. It is Indian economy is a mixed economy where both private and public sector have contribution to the Indian economy, and one is public sector and another one is private sector. In the private sector, sole proprietorship, partnership, joint Hindu family business, cooperative societies, and also company. In company again private limited company and public limited company, multinational corporation. These are the 5 various forms of organization. They also contribution to the Indian economy. These 5 forms of organization ನಾವು ಎರಡನೇ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿತಾ ಹೋದ್ವಿ. ಈ ಮೂರನೇ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ತರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ public sectors have been divided into 3 forms of organization. One is departmental undertaking, and another one is statutory corporation or public corporation, and the last one is government company. So ಈ departmental undertaking ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Departmental undertakings are state enterprises managed by the government department. So those departmental undertaking meanings, and also we discussed the futures, and also we discussed the merits and advantages. These 4 topics will be very important in the departmental undertaking topic. And the second one is statutory or public corporation. So statutory corporations also known as public corporations. So a statutory or public corporations is a body corporated or created by special act of parliament to carry on particular business. It is a modern form of state enterprise. It is a departmental undertaking, oldest form of state enterprises. Statutory corporation is the modern form of enterprise. These 2 topics are we discussed in the earlier classes. One is departmental undertaking and another one is statutory corporation. And also in today's class we discussed the government company. So government company is a company which is registered under the Companies Act and which is not less than the 51% of the share capital is held by the government. So government companies must and should hold the 51% of the government company shareholders. So a departmental undertaking is the old type of state enterprise, where the public corporation is the modern type of state enterprises. So ಇದಕ್ಕೂ compare ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ departmental undertaking is the oldest form of organization compared to the statutory corporation. And also a departmental undertaking is not created by any act, whereas public corporation is created by the special act of the parliament. So departmental undertaking government company is not created under the any special act, but a statutory corporation is created under the special act of parliament. A departmental organization is established by a ministry, but public corporation is established by a parliament or legislature. So departmental undertaking is established by the ministry, but when it comes to the public corporation, so public corporation means also called as statutory corporation, which is established by the parliament or legislature. So however, a departmental undertaking does not have a separate legal entity. On the other hand, a public corporation has a separate legal entity. So ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ಗೆ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟ್ಯುಟರಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ. So here a departmental organization does not provide a mixed ownership, whereas government company provides a mixed ownership. In departmental undertaking they don't have the mixed ownership. So mixed ownership means both private and public enterprises will be participated in the ownership. So government companies having the advantages of the mixed ownership, but compared to the departmental undertaking they don't have the mixed ownership. So the only control and management will be the government only. A departmental undertaking does not have a separate legal entity, and also government company has a separate legal entity. So already I told that separate legal entity will be there for the statutory corporation and the government companies, but the departmental undertaking not having the separate legal entity. So separate legal entity irodrinda ಏನು benefit andre they can file a case against the third party. So if any problems arises from the third party, they can easily file the case against those third parties in the name of the only company name only. But departmental undertaking does not have the separate legal entity, but statutory corporation and government companies having the separate legal entity. So it told that a departmental organization cannot be sued, it does not have separate legal entity. On the other hand, government can be sued because it has a separate legal entity. If you want to file a case against any third party, there must be the separate legal entity. With help of the separate legal entity they can file a case against the third parties. The funds of the departmental undertakings consists of budgetary allocation made by the government, but the funds of the government company consists of share capital contributed by the government, share capital contributed by the private shareholders, and also fund borrowed from the government and the public. So funds of the departmental undertaking will be formed by the only allocation made by the government budget. So here budget ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗು ಬಡ್ಜೆಟ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಫಂಡ್ನ ಅರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ದಿ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅರೈಸಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್, and also funds borrowed from the government and public. So both government and public can invest in the government companies. A departmental organization cannot borrow from the public, whereas government company can borrow from the public. So departmental undertakings cannot borrow the money from the public, but government companies can borrow the money from the public. They allow public to invest in the government company because it is a mixed ownership. So it is one of the advantage for the government companies to attract the public, but when it comes to the departmental undertaking they don't allow the public to invest the money. A departmental organization does not enjoy autonomy, whereas government company has some autonomy. So in departmental undertaking there is a lot of rules and regulations will be followed by the those employees under the departmental undertaking, but when it comes to the statutory corporation government company they are having the freedom when we compare to the departmental undertaking. So departmental undertaking compare ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ statutory corporation government company having the some of the freedom. So ಅವರಿಗೆ free to take any decision, free to take any plan. So ಆ freedom ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಯಾವುದರಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ they having the freedom. And also departmental undertaking is not run on a commercial principles, whereas government companies run on purely on commercial principles. A departmental undertaking organization is liable to political interference, whereas government companies comparatively free from political interference. So department undertakings alli political interfere ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Some of the matters any big funds will be transferred, the political may interfere with the department undertaking, but the government companies political not interfere with the government companies because both it is a mixed ownership, both public and the private ownership also there. These are some of the major differences between the departmental undertaking, statutory corporation and government corporation. Both three having this or some of the different freedom and also some of the different rules and regulations though, but these three are the major forms of the public sector. And also public corporation is formed under special act of the parliament, whereas government company is formed under the Companies Act. So when we observe statutory corporation government company, it is formed under the special act of parliament. So ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟ್ಯುಟರಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ it is we should follow the special act of the parliament, but when it comes to the government company, it does not follow the any special act of the parliament. A public corporation is established by the parliament or legislature, but a government company is formed by either minister or by minister and some other private investors. So public corporation does not have a mixed ownership, where government company provides a mixed ownership. So statutory corporation also called as public corporation, they don't have the mixed ownership, but government company having the mixed ownership, where both public and the government can take a position of the ownership. And also the management of the public corporation rests in the board of directors nominated by the government, but the management of the government company rests in the board of directors either nominated by the government or constituted by the government and the private shareholders. So the statutory corporation control and management will depends upon the fully depends upon the board of directors. Those board of directors will nominated by the government only. Here also government companies control and management will be depend upon the fully depend upon the board of directors. Those board of directors will be elected by the government or nominated by the government or constituted by the government or private shareholders. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಓನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರೇ ಆ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ನ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಓನರ್ಶಿಪ್, ಇಬ್ಬರು ಓನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಬೋತ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ದ ದೋಸ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್. A public corporation has more autonomy than a government company, so it having the more freedom compared to the government company. A public corporation has more flexibility operation of the government company. So statutory corporation or public corporation compare madre government company having the lot of rules and regulation compared to the statutory corporation. So public corporation are best suited for the public utilities, whereas government companies are best suited for the gained industry and commercial enterprises. So these are the some of the major differences between the departmental undertaking, statutory corporation and the government companies. So in the point of exam view, the major topics we should cover in these are meaning of departmental undertakings, features, merits and demerits, and also in the statutory corporation, meaning of the statutory corporation, features of statutory corporation, merits and demerits. And government company also same topic will be there, meaning of government companies, merits of the government companies, demerits of the government companies, and also features of the government companies. These major topics will be asked for the exams. And in the next topic is changing role of public sector. So another topic in the third chapter is changing role of public sector. In today's class we completed the government company meaning, and also we discussed the features of government company, merits of the government company and demerits of the government company. So Indian economics class having the two sector, one is public sector and private sector. These private sectors have been completed in the second chapter, and also we completed these three public sectors in the today's class. One is departmental undertaking, statutory corporation, government companies. So major topics in the second chapter is will depends upon these three only. We should understand all the features of these three, and also we should discuss the merits and demerits of these three. It will help to score the I marks in the examination. And also we continue in the next class, that is new topic is changing role of public sector. Thank you for listening the today's class.